Well, this is a big day. It's day 32 and I'm about to take my first dose of chemotherapy. So I want to share with you as a physician how I process thinking through taking any medications, whether it's chemo or any other medications. And I have a little mnemonic, step C. So whenever I'm thinking about taking a drug, I'm asking the question, is this one step C better than the alternative? And what step C stands for is safety, tolerability, efficacy, price, and convenience. So I want to run through all of that with you before I actually take my medication. So when it comes to safety, this is the package insert. So if you come here and look, the severe safety aspects are myelosuppression, meaning this is decreased in blood counts. So these are blood abnormalities, pneumocystis pneumonia, which is the type of pneumonia that comes from being immunocompromised, and liver toxicity. And then there's precautions in adverse, potentially fetal effects in pregnancy. So those are relatively rare. So that's safety. Then we're thinking about tolerability. Safety is like bad things that can happen. Tolerability is just, it's not dangerous, but it makes you feel bad. And that's actually one of my biggest concerns. And so back in the package insert.
You have to say what drug it is.
So the drug is temozolomide. And so it's an oral capsule. It's an oral drug. Taken once a day, and I'm taking 145 milligrams. And so, looking at the safety, so I'm thinking about tolerability. How bad am I going to feel on this? And so you come back over here, and right now I'm getting radiation therapy. I've been getting that for the last 5 days, and now we're adding the chemo. I should have been taking actually, at the start of my radiation therapy. It's called concomitant, means at the start. And I'll tell you, there was a little bit of a wrinkle. We'll say why we were kind of like a little bit of a week late, but I don't think that's going to make a difference. So if you come back over here, the way you look at this, this is radiation therapy alone, and you look over here, these are grade 3 events. So you run down here, and so like for example, dizziness and fatigue, it's actually, the radiation therapy is not bad, but what you're looking at, the big thing is, so for example, is nausea. And actually when you get into grade 3, there's very little nausea with radiation therapy alone, but you come across here, this is when you actually get into
Too far.
Yeah, so it looks to me, I'm just trying to kind of line this up over here. It looks to me that the nausea potentially goes up to 9%, if I'm reading this correctly. Well, let me go down here in this column here. Actually, no, that's, it's when you're talking about severe nausea, but that isn't. But if you're looking at mild nausea is 36%. Mild nausea is 36%. So, and then if you're on radiation therapy alone, mild nausea is 16%. So it doesn't look like it's got severe nausea. So you've actually got a 20% increase in mild nausea. Okay? So, and then if you look over here at the other side effect that I'm looking at is fatigue. And so it's 49% on radiation therapy of mild fatigue. And then you've got severe fatigue with radiation alone. It's 49 and 5%. And then when you go to the adding the temozolomide, you go from 49% up to 54% for mild fatigue or for all fatigue. But only you're moving from 5% for mild fatigue, for more severe fatigue, but just going up to 7%. So on a tolerability scale, it looks like this drug is going to be fairly well tolerated. I've got a good shot at actually not really having any increased fatigue, at least, severe fatigue. And this, by the way, is just a bell curve. We never know till we take the first drug. So every patient is unique, and there is some increase in nausea, but it doesn't look, from this data, it doesn't look severe. So that's the tolerability. Rare severe adverse effects, dangerous side effects, and then a slight increase in feeling bad. So if you come here, now we want to look at the efficacy. And so this is one of the seminal studies, one of the pivotal studies. It was published in the New England Journal in 2005. 2005, so that's probably what actually got this FDA approval. So this was titled Radiotherapy plus Concomitant and Adjuvant Temozolomide for Glioblastoma. And the first author was Roger Stupp. And so here's the data. It was a total of 573 patients in 85 centers underwent randomization, which means that you had patients in one arm that got the radiotherapy, and then in the other arm, what they got, you want to have like a double-blind randomized control trial. So in the other arm, they got a placebo, and they got the active drug, temozolomide, and both were actually getting, you were on radiotherapy and you got a placebo drug, which looked the same as the radiotherapy plus the active drug, and they were double blind, means nobody knew what was getting what until the trial was over. And here's the data. So that's a way of doing, a good, a well-designed study, because you know that the difference is just from the drug alone, because patients just taking a pill can have a placebo effect. So here's the data. If you come in here, Susie. So 573 patients from 85 centers underwent randomization. The median age was 56, which is close to where I am right now. I'm actually 56. And 84% of patients had undergone debulking surgery, meaning they had a big tumor in the brain, they had a surgery to take some of that tumor out, and then they went on the drugs. So the good news is, that's not me. I have smaller tumors that right now is not amenable to surgery. So that probably puts me at a little bit of an advantage over the data I'm going to show you over here. And then look at, this is like 2005, which means, that, and this doesn't even account for all the other things that I'm doing, but here's the data.
Can you just say what the data is? Because it's hard to get it on video.
Okay.
So I didn't see your face.
Okay. So at a median of 28 months, the median survival was 14.6 months with radiation therapy plus temozolomide, and then with radiation therapy alone, it was 12.1 months. So what you're getting is it looks like you're getting an extra 2 months advantage with the temozolomide. So, and you're looking at, well, is that worth it? And I would say, yeah. If, again, safety, tolerability, efficacy, price, and convenience. So you have to weigh all those factors together. Now you're saying, okay, for a benefit of like 2 or 3 months extra life, what are you actually trading off in terms of the safety, the tolerability, and the price, and the convenience? So this is what was interesting. So we...
do convenience first and then price.
Okay. Well, it's convenient because it's a pill. You just take a pill once at night. That's convenient. As opposed to going into an infusion center of getting kind of an infusion, which isn't very convenient. So the convenience is easy. So the price was really quite funny. The drug was sent to the wrong pharmacy that wasn't aligned with our plan, and we got the call that this drug was going to cost $30,000 a month. So obviously at that point, you say, well, $30,000 a month for 2 months extra, 2 or 3 months extra survival advantage, then you'll say, well, heck no, those trade-offs, are just too much. But we got it to the right pharmacy. And when we got it to the right pharmacy, we actually have zero copay. So it's really dramatic. So based on all of this data, I feel really confident about taking the drug. It looks relatively safe. It looks relatively well tolerated, but I don't know. It's an adventure. It has some efficacy data, which actually is promising. The price is good and the convenience is good. So I'm about to take my medication. Here's the pill. Here's the pill. And now there's only another thing to add in, and it's ritual. So I want you to kind of just see the context in which I'm taking the pill. I have the fire going in the background. They're telling me, take the pill. They're saying either on a full stomach or on an empty stomach, just do something predictable so it doesn't look like, that is. And I've got my sunflowers. I've got my sunflowers to remind me that this is about a flourishing life. And I'm about to take the pill. So here goes. Day 1 of chemotherapy. And then, good karma, feed the rest to the sunflowers. And I'm off and running. And then my glass is my favorite glass of all because it's got an upward spiral. That reminds me of the upward spiral of learning and growth. So the upward spiral in the Living Well From Within channel it's a journey to inspire healing, growth, and ultimately flourishing wellness in the world. And that's what this glass represents to me.